According to the Brexiteers, the consequences of Britain's exit from the EU are half as wild as we would say in Germany. However, one of the country's top bankers sees it very differently. There are few people who know the financial centre of London as well as Howard Davies. For many years, he was head of the British Financial Market Authority, the F.A.Z, and Davies now heads the board of directors of the major bank NatWest. The financial institution, whose full name is actually National Westminster Bank, is a British institution, and Davies' word carries weight. The insider's Brexit balance sheet is correspondingly differentiated, and yet with a clearly negative trend. The golden age of the city as Europe's financial capital is over, said Davies in an opinion piece for the debate portal Project Syndicate. It is true that both Brexit camps were essentially wrong with their forecasts, both the Remain side and the Brexiteers, he says. The effects of leaving the EU were not as fatal as the EU supporters had claimed. They are still minimal, as the Leave faction likes to claim. I disagree there, but still. For example, the relocation of trading in European stocks from London to Amsterdam at the beginning of the year made headlines. The Amsterdam Stock Exchange has thus increased its trading volumes 4 times that of December 2020, practically overnight. On the other hand, most traders would have decided to stay in London anyway. The volume of IPOs in the first quarter also shows that London continues to dominate the other financial centres in Europe. £8.3 billion were raised through IPOs in London compared with €5.4 billion in Frankfurt am Main, €5.6 billion in Amsterdam and only €0.1 billion in Paris, writes Howard. However, the consequences of Brexit are very evident. The number of companies that relocated some of their activities away from London was still, years ago only 269, and it's now 440. According to Davies, the development on the real estate markets also clearly heralds the end of the overwhelming dominance of London. Since 2019, house prices in Paris have risen by 20%, in Amsterdam by almost 40%, and in London by only 6%. So prices in the UK's capital are not rising as much as in previous years. For the EU, London is currently changing from its most important internal financial centre to an important offshore financial centre, says Davies. No more and no less. Although in the whole argument, Davies forgot one little thing. Because for the financial services, there are still transition periods here. And if you have a look at the whole thing right now, you might want to agree with Davies, but mid-2022, it's going to get really interesting. And he left out the whole part with the clearing business, and there will be big changes in the next year, because then the transition period and the temporary equivalence is over. And if you want to stay informed, please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in my next video. Auf Wiedersehen.